What's one childhood trauma that you experienced?
Man, that's a heavy question. But what trauma haven't I experienced as a little kid? Man, I got so many. But there's one that I wish I knew the answer to, and I've asked time and time again. I asked my mom so freaking much, and she's yet to explain this for me. And I don't get it. But it was me moving as a kid. I'm talking about every single freaking year I moved from city to city to city to city. All right. So originally I was born in uh, Reseda, California, which is like kind of like the suburbs of Los Angeles. It's about 30 minutes away. It's the Valley. It's 818. You know the Kardashians. That's you know that's where they're from. The 818, the stomping grounds. But as a kid, let me list off the places that I can remember off the top of my head where I lived. I lived in Sacktown, lived in the projects. My grandpa lived there as well. I remember walking out the house from my grandpa's place, and I remember he had like the clotheslines, like a T, you know, the metal clotheslines. One here, they had the wires. Another one, it was we were living in the hood, man, in the projects. Lived in Oceanside, nice ass area. I lived in Eastside San Diego, which is the hood, where I first saw my first beatdown, someone getting as a kid. What else is there? Lived in South Carolina, Spartanburg, stand up, let's go, baby. Um, Man, lived in Arkansas for a moment. The sticks, literally middle of nowhere, 3, 4 homes in a little cul-de-sac, and then you drive up about like a block, and then that was like the main highway, which nothing there. Lived in Honolulu, Hawaii, but even in Hawaii, I moved from place to place. I first lived in Liliha, where the original Liliha bakery was, like literally a block, not even a block. Like I could walk there in like a minute or so. Yeah, so I guess a block. And then I moved over to the other side in the hood in Kalihi, Cam 4, Hollywood, baby, let's go. Uh, what was it? Unit F6, you know, Unit F, Unit F, room number 6. I think it's kind of changing now, but I think from they moved from this more into this over in 808. Man, I literally lived everywhere as a child. So many more places up north too, in Cali, and to this day I still don't understand it. Why I moved so much. And I think being moved around year after year after year doesn't keep you grounded. And I've come to learn, like, you'll see that people that have lived in one place their whole life, they have childhood friends, or more than likely to have childhood friends. You know, you've it's someone that you've grown up with just because of proximity. You know, if you kept in touch with them, just because you're there, you're seeing them every single day. Like when you go to school, guess what? You see them every single day. And that is like for years, from like kindergarten all the way to high school. You know, that's 12 years of friendship. And me being moved around so much, I never really understood friendship. And that impacted me so much. I wasn't able to build on my social skills. And you got to keep in mind, man, I got two parents that came from Vietnam, from the war, and when they came here they had me, and they were just out hustling, busy working, so they just kind of left me to just the streets and just to our own things, you know. And that's who raised me, is the streets. So I don't fault them at all, but I do understand where I come from. You know, my upbringing, how it's shaped me to the person that I am today. Like the things that we experience as a kid, it carries over to adulthood. Like we're just kids, but just older now. You know, and we're able to like kind of understand who we were and see the things that we're lacking, just fill the holes in with money, experiences, friendships, you know, things like that, with our knowledge. And that was probably my biggest trauma, is not being able to be grounded and build relationships with just the community, the neighbors, lifelong friends. And I think, you know, this is something that I've learned about myself, is that Hawaii holds a very deep, like, part of me, and it always takes me back, and every time I go there, man, it just makes me never want to leave. And it's not because it's the sand, it's the beaches, it's the weather. Like, don't get it twisted. Yeah, Hawaii has those things. It's not all sunshine and beaches and palm trees. Like, Hawaii is ghetto, baby. It is hood. It's like island living, baby. People are still fishing for a living. There's like hella tweakers out there. Like, it's ghetto, man. Like, there's so many government housing projects. You got Palolo has one, Camp 4 has one, KPT, Kukui Gardens. Like, man, there's so many government projects out there. Like, you don't even know. And drive around the island. See the little beat down shops around downtown. Like, look at the housing. It looks like trash, man. It's very ghetto out there. It's not all nice and like island surfing living like you think it is. But the reason why Hawaii has such a hold on me is because that's where I actually was living for a long time, where I built some friendships. But even then, that got snatched away from me, and I didn't know how to communicate. We didn't have social media back then. I lived in Hawaii when it was what was it, 96 to 98. Yeah, so 2.5 years, give or take. But when I first moved there, my mom met this Vietnamese family. They had 10 siblings, 2 girls, 8 boys, and bam, we became best of friends. Their enemies became my enemies, you know. And then when I moved to the other side, down the street into the government housing in Camp 4, Kamehameha 4 housing projects, I made more Vietnamese friends, and their enemies became my enemies. And all the Vietnamese, we all knew each other. Why? Because we all went to the same church, man. They were Catholic. I just went to church just for the girls, man. I was a little kid. I didn't know anything about religion. I just knew there were girls at church, so best believe on Sundays I was there, baby. Let's go. But that's where I made my first friendship that I can remember. Tony, Johnny, Davis, like all the bros, all the brothers, man. You know, they were a very tight unit. And I think till this day, they're very tight unit to, like, you know, as a family. The brothers are all still around. Rest in peace to the mom. She actually got shot in front of the daughter, Cindy, which my little sister, she's very close friends with them, I believe. Today still. The mom, she was driving. I was at a red light. The little sister, Cindy, was in the, you know, the front seat. And there's this crazy guy just driving by or walking by or something. He looked at them and bam, shot at the mom. And unfortunately, she got hit and passed away, man. So rest in peace to the mom. You'll see it. Look it up on the news, man. You'll see it there. It's a very unfortunate thing that happened to them. And I'm sure that brought them even closer as a family. But those years of my life, those formative years, is where I made friendships. Like, I remember this time. It's funny because I remember this is when Casey and JoJo was fire. They made that song, All My Life. I remember one of the oldest bros, man, Thomas, he had this 4-door Integra, and he had 212s in the back. And I remember the car was full. We were driving somewhere, and he was slapping it. And I remember the windows down, the wind blowing through my hair, and I remember it was bumping, and I felt like, wow, this is such a good feeling. And I think it was through those relationships that I was able to build during that time that holds such a deep place in my heart. And it always brings me back to that place, because that's where I understood. I built relationships. I just didn't understand it. So, you know, as a kid, when I moved, after a couple of years, I moved back to LA to live with my dad, because my mom, you know, she wanted me to have a male figure as a growing young man. I didn't know how to keep in contact. You know, we didn't have cell phones like we did back then. We had house phones, but I didn't think to get their phone number. I didn't think to get their address and write letters. I just moved, and that was it. I started looking for new friends. I started making new friends out in LA, you know. So it was unfortunate because I wish I still had the mind to keep in touch with them. Or my mom was like, yo, get their phone number, get their address, keep in touch with them, man. They're good peoples, man. You know? But I remember I went to Hawaii a couple of years back, and as soon as I landed, there was like this wave of nostalgia. And I know nostalgia is just like, your endorphins and feelings, feel good feelings, but I love that. And even to this day, I want to be able to move to Hawaii and own a place or be able to travel there whenever the hell I want, because it holds such a dear place in my heart, man. But yeah, moving from place to place really hurts a kid, especially in their younger years when they're trying to, grow and be grounded. And I think that's very important, that we build and maintain relationships, not only at a younger age, but the new ones as we grow older too in life. So all the people that I meet now, I still have a hard time just because of how I was, raised as a kid. And then I ended up going to prison. That even like turned me in tenfold, man. And I still carry that now, and I have such a freaking hard time like understanding that I need to change. But I'm working on it, and every day that I live, I try to be better as a person. So that's the one thing I want you to do. Below, let me know what one childhood trauma you went through that really affected you, man. Hopefully you understand me a little bit better in this video. And don't forget to subscribe. There's that like button. Help your boy out. I'm trying to find like-minded people. Just level up in life together as a unit, because together we are stronger. Peace.